Let's consider this difference between puja and worship and begin with worship. Let's say we look at a religion like Christianity and ask what worship means. Now, worship, as they see it, is a service that human beings render unto God. Now, this service it's not merely a question of doing what one feels like to God, but actually it is to render service to Him according to how He has told you to render service. Now, how He should render service is, of course, precisely what His revelations are. Now, if you look purely at nature and think of a God who has created all these things and do whatever you feel like in order to worship such an entity, you are not truly worshipping Him, but you are doing false worship. So, in order, therefore, to give true worship to Him, He has to tell you, reveal Himself to you, and tell you how to worship. Now, the reason why you worship Him is clear, because that's the reason why you exist on earth. And the only thing you have to do on earth, if you hope to be saved from hell, is to worship God the way He wants you to. Now, consider the possibility that you worship Him without knowing how you worship Him. For example, you build an image of who you think God is. You offer pushpa, you offer flowers, you offer all kinds of incense, break coconuts, and so on. Now, you would not be worshipping the true God, first. Second, you're not worshipping Him the way He wants you to worship. And this, in fact, this way of worship would not only worship the false God, but this false worship will lead you to hell. And this is exactly what they call idolatry. Idolatry is not merely to worship the false gods, but also to falsely worship someone who you think is God. And that is one of the reasons why the British were so much against idolatry, worshipping of idols and images. Now consider in contrast with this what puja is all about. First of all, of course, how do you learn to perform puja? You're instructed. Now, you could be instructed by your parents, by your grandparents, maybe by a pujari in a temple. It doesn't matter how you get instructed. You get instructed. Let's assume you have done Ganesh Puja in India somewhere, say Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore, and you go to the United States of America, where half the time you have this awful winter. Let's say you are living in the wintry parts of the United States, and you can't do the puja the way you have been taught to do. What do? Well, tells your mother or your pujari, your grandmother, it doesn't matter. Sit comfortably, dressed if possible even in woolen clothes, put your heater on so that you feel warm, and do Manasa Puja. What does that consist of? Well, you simply think of Ganesha in your mind and you offer puja to him. Is it acceptable? Then your grandmother will tell you, look, Manasa Puja is the best form of puja. And they will even further tell you that Ganesha will accept any form of puja given by anyone and in whatever form or fashion. This is what puja is. That is simply to do something, to perform some kind of a ritual without very clear instructions of how to do it. In some cases there are, some cases there aren't. But there are possibilities for individual additions to rituals, individual changes to pujas, and each individual can develop his own way of performing puja. While this distinction, of course, makes it possible for us to look at puja in any number of ways, showing obeisance, showing respect, showing love, showing affection, whatever you want. And in fact, you can even say, look, I don't have puja, I'll think of Ganesha on the way to my work. Even that is considered puja. So puja has this flexibility, and worship has this inflexible nature. And this allows us to conceptualize multiple forms of puja, not only to Ganesha, but to your mother, to your father, to your teacher, to the bicycle, to the car, anything and everything. You can perform a certain set of rituals, and as far as you can do that, it is puja. Now, it is not compulsory. In no Indian tradition is it compulsory. But in Christianity, without worship, you are absolutely and totally doomed to hell. It is this flexibility that allows any Indian and every Indian to worship anything, at any place, at any time, in any way they want to, or not even perform any worship at all. This we have to contrast with worship as it exists in Christianity or Judaism or Islam, where without worshipping God, without rendering service to Him, all you're earning is a one-way ticket to hell.